For a lot of us, procrastination is already a huge battle. But then you throw in habits like drinking or smoking weed, and suddenly tackling that to do list feels utterly impossible. What's the real deal with that? What's genuinely happening beneath the surface when we instinctively grab that drink instead of doing what truly matters?
You've nailed it right there. Procrastination at its core is essentially our brain just going, nah, I'll get to it later, even when we know full well it's going to cost us. And then alcohol and cannabis, oh, they just crank that whole thing up to 11. They're like instant dopamine delivery systems, right? A quick hit, a little numb escape. But that immediate reward completely hijacks your brain's executive functions, all the stuff that helps you plan, focus, control your impulses. So the longer you're leaning on that crutch, the tougher it is to just find the oomph to actually start.
Wow. So it sounds like procrastination and substance use aren't just separate issues chilling in different corners. They're more like two sides of the same very problematic coin. Can you actually walk us through how this whole messy, vicious cycle plays out, both in our brains and just in our everyday lives?
All right, picture this. You've got some massive deadline looming, or maybe just a mountain of chores staring you down. Stress levels spike, or maybe you're just bored out of your mind. So, what's the natural instinct? You reach for that beer, or you light up a joint. That rush of dopamine feels amazing, right? But here's the kicker. In the long run, especially with cannabis, it actually blunts your brain's natural motivation signals. Your memory and planning centers, they take a hit too. Then, the next morning, you wake up with a brain full of fog, and that backlog of work is still there, glaring at you. And suddenly, that habit feels like the only way to get some relief. Rinse and repeat, and boom, you've built this self-reinforcing loop that just deepens both your procrastination and your dependency. It's wild.
Understanding that loop is seriously eye-opening. But once we see how these habits are just feeding each other, the million-dollar question becomes, how on earth do we actually break free? Imagine someone who, bless their heart, always grabs a drink the second their shift ends, totally derailing their entire evening. How does just identifying those tiny triggers become that essential first domino in the whole process?
It all kicks off with what we call trigger mapping. Think about it. What sets you off? Is it stress, loneliness? Maybe it's social gatherings or even just a specific time of day. For example, if every Friday night reliably ends with you sinking into a beer and a YouTube rabbit hole, you jot that pattern down. Then the magic happens. You disrupt that habit loop. You swap in a healthier behavior that scratches a similar itch. Maybe it's a brisk walk or hitting the gym or even just a quick creative burst like sketching. Imagine it like rewiring an old house. You're strengthening new pathways and letting the old dysfunctional ones just wither away. And seriously, do not underestimate the power of external support. Therapy, peer groups like AA or NA, or even a good coach can give you that crucial accountability and guidance.
Okay, so once we've bravely tackled the substance use head on, what about the actual procrastination itself? What are some really tangible strategies someone can immediately grab onto to start chipping away at that mountain of backlog?
All right, here's the playbook. First, take those massive, overwhelming tasks and slice them into ridiculously tiny, bite-sized steps. We're talking writing a single sentence or just sorting one email. Each tiny win, believe it or not, sparks a little positive dopamine release, and that builds momentum. Then layer in a reward system. After you finish one of those mini tasks, allow yourself a quick 5-minute break, a cup of tea, or even just a short stroll. This isn't just about being nice to yourself. It actually reinforces that productive behavior and gradually retrains your brain to seek rewards from progress, not from escape.
Those steps make so much sense. But beyond just task lists and timelines, what are the deeper, more profound impacts this kind of transformation actually has on a person's entire life?
Oh, the ripple effect is honestly remarkable. We're talking improved cognitive clarity. Your brain just feels sharper, reduced anxiety, which is huge, stronger, more reliable relationships because you're actually showing up. And perhaps most importantly, this invigorated sense of self-efficacy. You go from feeling utterly trapped in this damaging cycle, to forging a path of consistent progress and genuine fulfillment. Breaking that pattern isn't just about ticking items off a list. It's truly the first step on a journey from stagnation to lasting, undeniable success.